I'm so pleased to say joining us right now is Jeremy Hunt, UK Chancellor of the Exchequer. Thank you so much for being with us. I am curious, there's just this agreement that you just came to. Can you explain why it was so important to come to this financial agreement between Switzerland and the United Kingdom?
Hi, Lisa. Thank you for inviting me onto the show. This is a very groundbreaking agreement. It's never happened anywhere in the world before, and it links two of Europe's largest financial centres, the City of London and Zurich. And instead of doing what previous trade deals and mutual recognition deals do, which is try to align legal frameworks, what we're doing here is we're saying that in the UK, we will allow Swiss companies to operate following Swiss regulatory structures and rules, and in Switzerland, they will allow British-based companies to operate following UK rules and regulations without the need for both countries to align their legal frameworks. And so in terms of the wholesale insurance market, asset management, banking, this is a really significant deal, but also could be a template for the kind of deals that the UK does with other countries going forward.
That's exactly where I was going to go. Chancellor, who's next? What other country?
Well, we're open to discussions with anyone. What I would say is it was much easier to do this deal with Switzerland because there's a lot of trust between Switzerland and the UK. We've been friends for a very long time, and there's a lot of confidence in each other's legal systems and regulatory structures. But we're open to this kind of discussion with any countries all over the world. Anything that boosts choice and competition whilst respecting our sovereignty and our ability to make our own rules and regulations is something we're happy to talk.
Chancellor, how important is this, given the fact that there have been discussions about financial hubs moving to Paris or moving to Frankfurt or Berlin? How much is it important to get some of these connections in order to boost tax revenue and keep the banking sector in the United Kingdom?
Well, we've had a lot of discussion post-Brexit of people, banks, operations potentially moving out of London. But it hasn't materialized on anything like the scale that people predicted. London has shown itself to be very resilient. And if you look at what's happened in the last year, what we've done in the UK is we've shown we're going to be hungry to keep all that business that's come to London. We are very committed to financial services in the UK. We passed the Financial Services and Markets Act. We are changing the rules for prospectuses and for all sorts of the rules around IPOs to make the London Stock Exchange more competitive. We've got the Mansion House reforms, which is going to unlock a lot of capital into growth businesses from pension funds. So we are really motoring in the UK. We're hungry to attract business all around the world. And this deal with Switzerland is just another step in that direction.
How much are you looking to some of these revenues, though, to be able to enact tax cuts? You were talking about additional tax cuts coming down the pike. Are you still planning that? And specifically, where are you planning to have those tax cuts? Is it going to be with the savings or property, other areas?
Well, Rishi Sunak and I have said that we would like to cut the tax burden more if we're able to do so. But we won't be in a position to do that until much closer to the spring budget. We haven't announced a date for that yet. But, you know, we won't find out what the latest forecasts are from the Office of Budget Responsibility to know whether we're in a position to do that for some time. But we would like to bring down the tax burden in a way that is responsible if we're able to do so. But right now, our priority is to bring down inflation. We had really good news yesterday, 3.9% inflation, beating market expectations by some way. That is because we have shown discipline in government. We've taken decisions that have supported the Bank of England in what they're trying to do with interest rates to bring down inflation. And it's still above target. We've still got more work to do. So that will remain our primary focus.
There is a concern about strikes. There was another strike shutting down some of the train systems recently. That was some of the reports this morning. Doctors are striking again. Are you prepared to start to materially increase salaries at a time when you're still concerned also about inflation?
Well, that's a very important question to ask. And what I would say is, I put it the other way around, actually. I would say the reason why we're having these strikes is because when I became Chancellor, after what Putin did in Ukraine, we had inflation of 11.1%, and people can see their living standards eroding because the price of the weekly shop, the price of filling up the car is going up. So the way that you bring back industrial harmony is to bring down inflation. And that is why it is the primary focus for myself and Rishi Sunak. And when it comes to talking to junior doctors in the NHS or train drivers, we're always prepared to be reasonable, pragmatic and sensible. We've always said we're not going to agree to pay deals that threaten our progress in bringing down inflation, because that doesn't help anyone if you agree to pay deals that mean that next year's inflation ends up being higher. But, we are willing to talk to anyone at any time to try and come to a reasonable solution. And that's why more than 1 million employees in the NHS have agreed to deals, why unions in many other parts of the economy have agreed to deals, and we hope the small number of unions that are holding out will also do the same.
I do want to just finish up from a market's perspective. The markets are now pricing in almost 6 rate cuts by the Bank of England next year as they look at the pace of disinflation. Is that your base case as well?
Well, chancellors never comment on interest rate movements for reasons that you'll understand, Lisa. But what I will say is that I think people will start feeling more optimistic about their own family finances when they can see interest rates on a downward trajectory. And the best thing I can do is to support the Bank of England in their efforts to bring down inflation. And that's what I'll continue to do.
And if inflation goes down, does it give you more headroom to cut taxes?
Well, if debt interest payments go down, then potentially that gives me more headroom, and I could use that in lots of different ways, but I would never use it in a way that compromised the battle against inflation.
Jeremy Hunt, Chancellor, thank you so much for being with us today, and hopefully we'll speak with you again soon.